Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and join with me today, we got Lady Christina, the excellent over here.
Let's go.
Hopefully your internet doesn't drop out here today. Fingers crossed.
Don't speak this into existence. Don't do this. No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
And of course, we got JT here with us today as well. AKA normally Egg, as we've been calling him.
Well,
he's in a guest out now. He's not used to the StreamYard setup.
I am the excellent.
There you go. Welcome back, everybody, though. This is episode 98 of Watching the Throne. And today we're here to talk about, very sad, but it's the finale of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the first season of this new spin-off show. But before we get into it, and, there's a lot to talk about and a lot to get to, but I did quickly want to mention, make sure to like and subscribe. We will be continuing to do this show live. Our interactivity with folks coming through this time around wasn't as much as we had with House of the Dragon. So we're really hoping you guys come back for that one. If you guys end up finding this show, coming across it, end up checking this out, make sure to like and subscribe. And you can actually talk to us in the chat and drop your comments and talk along with us with your fan theories when we're back for House of the Dragon. We will be back this summer. It is confirmed. We're going to watch the trailer at the end of this episode, the little teaser that they've put out. And that's going to be for House of the Dragon season 3. It's back this summer in June. We don't have the exact June date yet, I'm pretty certain, but I believe it's June confirmed this summer. So that's really exciting. So we will be back. We will be recording those live. So make sure to tune in for this. Get subscribed right now. You can even hit the little notification bell to be notified of when these shows do go out. And whenever a new show is uploaded and it goes live, you'll be notified. And, we don't really do many live shows here these days. So these are special events. These are really fun. It'll be, the same 3 hosts here, Christina, JT, and Nico will be here. And we'll be returning for House of the Dragon. Another thing, we'll be back for House of Dragon season 3. It'll be episode 100 of Watching the Throne. That's right. Between now and then, we will be doing a trailer reaction when the full trailer drops, which shouldn't be that far, before the new season. Usually it's like a month or so before I feel like they put out the actual trailer for the show. So we'll be back for a reactionary episode for the new trailer for episode 99. And then episode 100 of Watching the Throne will be back for the new season 3 of House of the Dragon. That's really exciting. We're really looking forward to that. I can't wait to get back to that story as well. So really excited by that news. Between last week's episode, they announced it's coming back in June. Go ahead, Christina.
I'm putting $100 bet down. I'm willing to match anybody on this. They're going to drop it June 21.
The trailer or the new season?
No, the new season.
Okay, that's a Sunday, right? Obviously,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be pretty dumb of me if I was like,
yeah, it's on a
Thursday.
I bet anybody it's gonna drop on a Monday. Yeah, no. Okay, so the 21st. What makes you think that? What's your prediction?
I don't know. There? It's like the second last Sunday. It's Father's Day. They always kind of drop these things on
I think if you were to trace it back, there was a season that roughly started around the same time in June, I believe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think that's maybe the last outing that we had with House of the Dragon, right? Or did that come out
here first?
Okay, correct. So there you go. Christina has spoken. Lady Christina over here. So you heard it here first. June 21st. Should be hopefully the season 3 of House of the Dragon. So we'll be back for that, guys. But today we're talking about the finale of this show. Initial thoughts before we get into it. What'd you guys think?
It was too short for fuck's sakes, but yeah.
No, I liked it. I was actually not sad about this season ending. I was like, oh, this was lovely. This was a really lovely way to wrap up this part of the story. I'm happy about this. I'm not upset at all.
You want to know something? I didn't really enjoy this episode to its fullest until the second time I watched it to talk about here on the show here today.
Okay.
The first go around, I was a little underwhelmed because I'm like, this guy's spending the whole episode just feeling sorry for himself. I was like, what is this? But then like when I rewatched it again, there was really good scenes and things that needed to happen in order for us to kind of wrap this chapter up, like for him at this tournament and for Egg to kind of continue on his journey with him. And I really appreciated it the second watch, honestly, because the first time around, I don't want to say I thought it was bad, but I was a little bit underwhelmed because I'm like, he's kind of just going around from one person to the next, like, oh, why wasn't it me? Why wasn't it me? And like, I don't know. I kind of was feeling a little bit down on it at first in that regard. But then like when I actually went to do notes, I was like, oh yeah, that was a solid scene. That was a solid scene. So like overall, really happy with this season. I mean, I thought this was a great, spinoff. But like how about
the season?
Yeah, how about final thoughts on the whole season? Like, was this successful for you guys? Because I thought it was excellent overall.
Yeah, 100% for sure.
Yeah,
I tell everybody, I'm like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. It's only 6 episodes or like half an hour each. Like, just watch it. Just watch it. Just watch it. It's entertaining, So there's only one person that's given me a little bit of gripe about it. My mom.
Oh, really? Not a fan?
She couldn't get into it. She's tried multiple times. I'm like, you just please get into it. But like, I'm also not surprised.
Okay.
But a little bit because she does love Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. So I'm a little like shocked, but maybe it's like the fact that it, like, like the things that we love about it, how comedic it is, how maybe a little immature it can be at times, like things like that. Maybe it threw her off. She wasn't expecting it, and she's expecting something like typical Game of Thrones-ish. But no, I think I loved it. I love the change of pace. I love the story.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually feel like halfway through the season, the first half was much more like of that tone. And then I feel like the second half of the season, it shifted a bit. It got a little bit more serious, obviously, as things started to happen with the story. Like things had to get serious for certain moments to kind of matter and have the impact. But then like towards the end, like I really appreciated like how they analyze like what it means to be a knight, like what it means to be a good person, what it means to make these choices, what like and like this episode, like what I really thought was good again upon the second watch, because the first time I was just like, okay, yeah, that was good. But then like when I went to do the notes and I was really kind of focusing on what was going on, I was just like, yeah, like everyone's questioning, like, why did the gods, like, everyone's like questioning the gods and like, why did they choose to do this? And like, they really start analyzing their own lives. Like, it's like, and like, their, like, you know what I mean? Their choices and their part in things. And like, even that thing with Makar in this episode with like him being a failed father of like, in a way, you know what I mean? Like, there's all this interesting, introspective stuff that's actually happening beneath the surface of these characters in this series by the end of it. I was like, this is very interesting. Like Game of Thrones definitely gets into that zone, don't get me wrong, and House of the Dragon, but like not in the same way that this show did. I felt like this was, I don't know, it's the approach and the tone was interesting.
I haven't, like, just another thought, like just hearing you say this, and it was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, this is actually a good, like, this is like the only example I think where the good guy wins,
right?
Like in the end, like if we look historically with Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, it's like the good guy, girl, whatever, like, the good person usually loses or fails,
right?
So it's like, this is like, it's just refreshing. It's just different. And it's just, like, even, the tone is different. Everyone's questioning things differently. It's like you see a different side of characters that you don't usually see. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. But Jay, what about you?
Yeah, nobody could be like a fucking Ned Stark where they just everybody just doesn't want to watch the second season. But yeah, no, I still think Baylor still, regardless, I think he was a good person in that sense by doing that at the end. Like losing his life, like, so there is somebody that is meaningful that you lose in this, but not as meaningful as the other characters that have come across so far to us.
Yeah.
And from what I'm guessing, this is just the top of my head. If it stays that, I'm also scared that the first episode or something of the second season, they're gonna kill somebody fucking important that we're gonna already like, and it's gonna throw me off. I always have that in the back of my head that they're gonna just get rid of
Well,
somebody. Somebody's gonna hurt. I mean, I thought he was dead, dude. Today.
but again, to Christina's point, that's because of our expectation. They kind of
Our
are playing,
trauma.
they're playing against our expectations as a result of that's what this has going for it, in the sense that this is playing against your expectations as a Game of Thrones fan in that way too. Yeah, I agree with what Christina was saying, because last episode when you kind of helped join us in the chat after your internet or whatever was going on with your computer there last episode, we may have been responsible. I'm finding out now, but anyways, whatever happened there. And thank you for joining us in the chat along the way, though. I was even saying that last episode, like when I thought he was going to get killed in that battle, is that again, there's so many moments where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is Game of Thrones. This is something's going to happen. Someone's going to come and lop his head off. Like something's, you know what I mean?
Especially when he took his helmet off. I was
Yeah,
like, no, don't do this.
It's always in the back. It was always in the back of my head, though, that there's the possibility that this guy won't survive this first season, because especially after with how they left it last episode with when Baelor got killed, I'm just like, well, I mean, they could just turn around and be like, well, that's because it's your fault, so we're killing you now, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get, like, fortunately for him, he had the gods on his side, in the sense that everyone now all of a sudden wants to like believe in like the gods, and they chose to do this, and but that's what kind of had them all spiraling out and questioning their own life choices and their own choices. Like even Makar, to the point where he's like, I am the one that killed him, but I didn't mean to, but it happened. So therefore it must have been predestined. You know what I mean? Like, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think, dude,
put a lot of faith into these gods.
Right. You're the one that chose to hit this guy with a mace in the back of the head. No one else asked you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And I get how they kind of think like that, their perspective on that sort of thing. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, everybody's got their own choices. Regardless, you can think of whatever you want, but he swung the mace, right?
Well, I think that they really examined it even more so, which he was another Baratheon, right, in Game of Thrones. Who's the one that had the witch woman with him? In Game of Thrones, the one that went to like all ends.
That was
Stannis Baratheon, right? So that was somebody, they really examined that a lot, religion and faith and that kind of thing, in that sense, in this world with the God stuff with him. He went to like the ends of the earth, killed his own child, all in the name of like, I have to be king. This is like, you know what I mean? Like that, like to
it's
the
destiny. I have to do this, like to fulfill the destiny that the gods have laid out for me.
Like, I don't think that's ever going to be explored as interesting as that was with that character, to the point where at the end where he's like, I can't believe I did all this stuff. Like I really messed up. You know what I mean? But and then at the end of the day, again, that was another guy that I think was like a good person, but he went mad, like with like wanting the greed of the, like, you know what I mean? Like of
power.
Wanting king, power. Exactly. So like, it's kind of be examining those kind of same themes, but in a different way here in this episode. I really liked, and I've really grown to love some of these characters too. Lionel Baratheon's awesome. I love that character. He had
what's his name? Like in what's his name as the actor? I didn't get a chance to look it up. I was going to look it up, because he's fucking he's just great. Got some sort of like, I don't know what it is to him.
Yeah,
like some persona that he has. That I was going to ask you about that too, right? Because he just the way he is, you know.
Yeah,
like,
Lewis feels the same. He's like, I love that guy.
Yeah,
those Baratheons are the shit, you know. Though, but really, if we go along through the histories. Right, but I mean, those Baratheons seem to be the cool ones, right? Where everybody just fucking has to, you know, these guys party, these guys do their thing, these guys get hammered, dance. I mean, the other one just ate in Game of Thrones, right? But
the actor's name is Daniel Ings, Ings. That's Lionel Baratheon, the actor who plays them. Yeah, I don't know. He looks familiar. I don't know if
Yeah,
I've
I
ever
know.
seen him in other things, but he does look familiar. But
Yeah.
he's excellent. Like I really like. I mean, we're gonna get into it now with the scenes here in a moment, but like his scene in particular, I thought was really strong. Like he kind of was always a standout, I think, amongst all of the characters in this season that were new and that were introduced to us throughout. Right, like everybody else, kind of like not a lot of them stuck. Like I think between him and
Raymond
what's
Fossaway.
yeah, he was good. Yeah, but I think between him and what's his name there, um, uh, the Targaryen there, uh,
Arion?
yeah, Barry, yeah, between him and Lionel, I think those were my favorite characters in Raymond. Yeah, I think obviously, I mean, outside of Duncan Egg, I'm talking about, but like everybody else, I feel like, I don't think made too much of an impression on me this season. So, any other thoughts though about the season as a whole or this episode before we get into the scenes?
I just can't wait, man. Because I mean, we're gonna have to
I'm
wait
very
at
much,
least
yeah.
another. We're
Yeah.
gonna at least have to wait another year, right? But I mean, it's a
okay.
quick. You
I
know
can
what?
wait.
It's a quick. Really, it's a, for everybody out there. It's a quick, like 3.5 hour binge if you really want, right? So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people either missed out on this or are late to the party, like we kind of mentioned previously. And if you guys have been, or like I said, even late to watching this show and you like this show here, this Watching the Throne that we do, we have a playlist. You can go back and watch it. You can watch any of the Game of Thrones shows if you haven't seen them, are good starting points. But like, just know that they're all kind of different in tone in certain ways. Like I would say, like House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones are a little bit more close together in terms of tone. This is much different, but this is a really good. Like, I would say that this is a really good starting package, honestly. Like, if you wanted just to kind of get a taste of this, because I was telling somebody who doesn't watch Game of Thrones, who likes stuff about knights, I was trying to urge him to check this out because I'm less like, oh, yeah, you should watch this then, because this is basically like it is like a Knight's Tale, right? Like, so far. And I think
it's a good like starter intro to kind of the world, but it's nothing heavy. It's nothing like,
yeah, but very
too
like
time consuming.
Very focused, small. The focus is small in terms of the scope compared to even now at the end of the season where they're talking about traveling through the 9 kingdoms, right? Like it was like basically like, hey, look at all these places that we can go and travel as Hedge Knight and his squire now, right? So yeah, I really ended up liking it. I think like I thought the pacing was really excellent, and yeah, like I said, it was really just more like my initial thoughts on the first episode. I think I was just expecting big things, but then when I kind of went through and watched it again in preparation for the show, I was just like, there's nothing I would really change about what happened here in this last episode. It was fine the way it was. It was just, it was just, we're so used to them leaving us on these crazy cliffhangers and leaving for 2 years with House of the Dragon lately. There's a war. Oh, no, we're going to see you in 2 years. You know what I mean?
But not yet.
So, yeah. This was good.
they kind of left us on a cliffhanger, bro.
Yes and no. Like a cliffhanger I can wait for. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to know.
There's a few real short ones there. Like there was some cliffhangers.
There's an epilogue of sorts. Yeah, we'll get to it here. But yeah, unless you guys have anything else you want to add, we can get into the scenes now. Stay tuned though. We are going to be watching the little teaser that came out for House of the Dragon season 3 at the end of this episode. I figured we just watch it here because it really just came out as they knew when people were going to be closing in on this last season finale episode. They released a little teaser to let you know. Really great on their part. Really great on their part too. No, they did. That was the smartest thing that they could have done, is because like, hey, if you've been watching Game of Thrones, we're coming back like this summer. Like that's if they can keep up this pace and actually bring out the last season next summer. Like I said, we're gonna be eating good here on this show, talking about Game of Thrones between these two shows.
Yum,
I'm a happy camper, right? We're just eating food memes to each other in the group chat. But let me just change my name now.
Oh, speaking of food, I want to ask you guys a question. It's totally off topic, but kind of related. How do you like to eat your eggs?
Sunny side up.
Okay, cool.
In my mouth.
I like to dip my my toast in it, so
right.
Yeah.
Are you a
like-
white, brown, or rye bread guy?
I like if I can get rye, then I'll always go for rye. But
To
it's
eat, right?
yeah, if I can get rye bread, I
It's
go
the
for the
caker
rye.
in me. It's the caker in me. That's what it is.
What, just to eat eggs? Any way they
And
come?
hard boiled. No, hard boiled in that little cup, man.
Hard-boiled?
Oh wait, or is
eggs.
that over easy the way I like it? What's the way where you can dip it and like it's
Sunny
like
side.
Over easy. Over
it is?
easy.
No, it's over.
Yeah, same way, same
It's
shit.
the
You
same
can
thing.
call it two different
Over
things.
easy is like a little bit more cooked. It's not as runny.
Yeah. It's not as runny. It's got a little bit more of a white covering to it.
Yeah,
as
then it's
opposed
sunny
to-
side up. I like then where it's like very runny. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
got
the one
you,
that gives you. You know why it's runny? Because you'll be running, buddy. Like the first
Listen.
episode.
Not everyone has those fucking same issues you do. By the way, JT watches all of his episodes of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms from his throne in the
There
water.
you go. There you go. That's a side note. Let's see if you guys remember that for next season.
Anyways, okay, let's get into the scenes now. Now, I usually shout
Moving
out.
on.
Moving on. Yeah, no, enough about your shit. We've dedicated enough time on all of the late night chat shows, I think, to talking about you and your fucking
Bowel movements.
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I usually shout out this website, Wiki of Westeros, which is a great resource, guys. But they have not been timely this year in putting these notes out. Okay, I'll say that. So Christina, you took the notes for this. Take it away. No, I'm just joking. Look at her face. No, I took the notes. Okay.
Okay.
Christina's now just gonna make up the details.
Thank you.
All right. So this episode opens up. So yeah, bear with me, guys, because this is not going to sound as
It's the wiki of Nico.
as articulate as the Wiki of Westeros scenes. But we've done pretty good this season. I think we've only had Wiki of Westeros notes like twice out of 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, right? So anyway.
We were talking them up, and then it was like,
I know. I'm like, these guys suck now. You know what the worst part is? I looked at last week's, and that's still not up either. I'm just like, what the hell, guys? Who's falling asleep at the wheel? Who's falling asleep at the? I might as well submit my notes for God's sake.
Straight the fuck up, man. Like seriously, you can just submit them, let them put it in there.
I think next season we got to get up in the chat rooms on there, the little the Discord that they got going, and be like, hey guys, check out our show. Right? We need to get the word out. All right.
There's got to be a way, yeah.
So the episode opens up with Lionel Baratheon and a maester staring down at Dunk after the Trial of the Seven battle. And it's a very interesting music. There's like a very jazzy music playing at the start. Yeah. Did anybody look it up? Like what this was, this jazz music? Because I didn't.
Not the first one. I did look up the last song.
Same as I did too, Jay. So we'll get to that. Actually, I did check out the last one because I'm like, I think I've heard this song before, but
it's catchy, bro.
Yeah, but it's like some really somber, jazzy kind of music, like as them like, which was the POV is interesting because you see them like looking down at him, and you only see their view from like Dunk's view, I guess, of him like looking at him, right, as he's sitting there.
Well, and I'm wondering if it's like because the POV throws you off, right? So I mean, at first, so it's like, okay, you're looking at them, but are they looking at a dead person? Is what I'm wondering, right? It's fucking weird as a TV when you do it like that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just messes with the brain or an illusion of some sort, but yeah.
But it was a nice touch. I like how they're putting different types of music that are not like period specific pieces. And I feel like they really only did that this episode. Did they do that throughout the season? I don't think so.
Actually, I feel like, and I meant to mention this last week.
Did they?
But no, I meant to mention, like, I don't think they've been playing any music throughout any of the scenes, unless it's like specific, like in the beginning or something. I don't.
Not even at the intro.
No, like music is not part of the show at all, which is so interesting.
There's no radio.
We're so used to having like,
right,
like some violin or something like playing to
indicate
doom.
Just an interesting choice again. And then in this episode, they put 2 like moments where it's like music that's not identifiable to this world at all. Like you literally got a non-specific period piece song at the end of the show. Then you get some like jazz music here at the start. It's very interesting.
I think it was hilarious. Makes sense. The jazz music was so funny. I'm like, what is happening?
No, I'm not complaining. I think it's a great touch. It's weird that they like decided to kind of throw that in here. And it's not like been an ongoing thing that at least we've all noticed throughout the season. I think this is like the first time they did that, right? So
yeah.
So that Lionel then offers him a flask of wine to drink as he sits there. JT, you're going to get a lot of tree talk in this episode. A lot of tree talk.
No, I'm telling you right now, it's all about the fucking trees,
really
bro.
is.
I'm telling you,
It
this
really
whole
is.
kingdom is about trees.
It really is.
It's trying to tell you to save the fucking planet, guys.
You know, I mean, I know me and Christina were making fun of you when you were talking about trees and the other, like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, but in this specific show, the tree is a big part of it. I'll give you that.
And it is. I mean, on the
I
book too,
stand
bro. It's just
corrected.
Yeah. So
the tree of life, bro. It's what it is, man.
It
It's
is.
called. It's evolution. It's fucking.
connected to a lot of things.
Yeah, bro.
So Lionel sits with Dunk under the tree, sharing his drink with him, reminiscing about how good the tournament was. A shame it's already done. As basically, as a Maester looks over Dunk as he's as he's very badly injured, and then he offers Dunk to come with them. He's like, oh, well, we can hunt, we can sail, and make merry. You can sharpen that sword of yours so you don't make such a grand fool of yourself the next time, right? So he offers, through friendship, an opportunity for him to come and travel with them, right?
Well, where they're going to Tarth, right? If I'm not
He
mistaken.
mentions that, yeah. I think maybe we'll go to Tarth, and then then this is when the Maester, he's like, the man is dying, my lord. He's like, huh? What?
What?
He's like, his wounds are beyond my abilities. He's like, an itchy asshole is beyond your abilities. My friend, be gone with you. Fuck off. He's like, cunt.
Yeah.
Louis was on the floor. He could not stop laughing. It was
But
the funniest intro, I think, next to the first two.
Yeah.
That he couldn't handle it. It was hilarious.
That line reading is so good. Like the way he just keeps insulting him as he's walking away. That he's like, yeah, he's a shit Maester. Don't worry about him. You'll be fine. He's like, get this guy out of here. He's like, he'll be never, it's so funny.
Yeah.
He's good.
Taking a piss. That was the best.
Then he goes and takes a piss. Yeah. It's fine.
He's if you come, I'll love you like a brother, but if you don't, I'll hate you like a brother.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck yourself too, right?
Yeah. He says, it's fine. You're fine. He's a terrible Maester. Yeah, and then he says, tells Dunk to come with them to Storm's End, and I will love you like a brother, as you mentioned. If not, well, fuck you. I'll hate you like a brother. And he's like, come on, it's a fine offer. And then he's basically like, oh, all I do is bring pain and suffering to those around me. And he's like, you've done the realm of kindness. You'll see that one day. He's like, the only good dragon's a dead dragon, he basically says in response to him. And now this is the part of the scene.
These are the little eggs they're throwing everywhere.
No, but I love his reaction to him when he says this, where he's like, he's like, please speak with a little respect, please, about him. He died fighting for me. And he's like, fuck that and fuck you. I fought for you. Like, he's like, I did. He's like, and Beesbury and Harding and the fucking Apple Boy. Right? That's true, though. He's like,
it's true.
He fought for you. He's like, you're sitting here like, basically,
all moping because Baylor died.
Like, I'm your friend. Like, that guy, was not your friend until the last moment. Like, that's what he's trying to say to him. And I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with him. He's right. He had no reason to help him at all, either, except for that he genuinely
believed in him.
Yeah,
but I think he believed in why he did it.
Listen, Baylor came around at the end, but he came around. But Baylor was he was looking out for him, but at the same time, he coerced him into this situation in a way. You know what I mean? Because he was like, "There's no other way out of this." And I know my family's a bunch of liars, but I can't do anything about it, right? That was the shitty part about that. Was he's like, I just got to go along with this.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Lionel, Harding, Beesbury, all of those other houses, they could have lost. They
could have died,
lose, or they could have lost heirs, other potentials. Whereas Baylor was he literally chose to fight against people that couldn't do anything to him.
Right. Except
And I
his
guess
brother.
he never
and he never
thought his brother would have done what he did. So that's why it was he's fighting a battle that he doesn't need to be involved in, and he knows he's got more protection than anybody else.
It's much more an emptier you know what I mean? Like favor that he did for him in a way. Like then
Yeah.
like
It
these
was almost
guys
like he
went
did it
for
for himself, like
Right.
to make himself look better
I-
and feel better
I
about the
100%
situation.
agree with Lionel here in this scene. I'm just like, yeah, you tell him. Like, I'm like, quit feeling sorry for yourself.
Well,
We
Yeah.
all just fought for you. Like,
Yeah.
we all like barely 2 other men have died. Like, you know what I mean? Sorry, other than Baylor, right? Like half the group died basically, like in this fight. Which I don't understand how Raymond's alive, honestly, quite frankly. But that's another story right there. That whole thing, I don't know. But he's like, yeah, you're you know, he fought for you against men who were sworn to protect him, and the gods don't favor a fraud. Then why have they favored me? He's like, this is no favor. This is what the hell is he? Mockery. There's a war coming. We can be a force, you and I. He's like, you'll consider it? Like, he basically says, like, throw your hat in the ring with me. He actually thinks like, I'll train you. You could be a threat, like with me, if we're together as a team. Like he really does like come around to this guy and be like, I actually think of you in a way where like you could be someone, like if you
Right.
came with me, right? Like I really, I just really liked his kind of like the way he kind of tried to look out for him here in this scene. I really like him a lot.
even when he said that, why do the gods favor me?
Yeah,
That's
feeling sorry for himself, right? Like that's
Dunk?
but
Yeah.
yes, but he also says the gods only favor the true lords or true knights, right?
Yeah,
and
right. I know.
Then he throws that out there, right? And it's like, fuck, they got you now biting your teeth. You're like, okay, what's going on here?
Right.
And
they showed a scene. There's a scene in this episode, Jay, where that once again he's like, "Why didn't you unite me?" And they cut to him and
the tree.
Well, yeah, they're at the tree. Yes. He's asking the tree why didn't you unite him. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean.
And so, anyways, he says, "Good. The caravan departs after the roast. If you want to come with me, think on it." Right. And I think that's pretty much the last time we see him, right? This episode. I think this last, because he doesn't leave with them. Clearly, like he doesn't end up going with them. So I really hope that he meets up with them again somewhere along the road here next season. I really hope. It would just be a waste to like build that character up. Although I don't know what the fate is of this character after this tournament, right? Look at Christina
on the way home or something. Yeah,
exactly.
Shit can happen.
Then you cut to Baylor's funeral. This next scene, Makar kind of looks onwards as the funeral pyre goes. Afterwards,
it's a pig roast.
Afterwards, Dunk is at the funeral site after everyone has left, and he sees Baylor's son, Prince Valar Targaryen, mourning his father, and he takes the moment to speak to him as he like sitting there. Now, remind me if I'm not mistaken, is this our first time actually seeing him this season, or have we seen him previously? I can't remember when we saw him previously.
Episode 2.
Okay, and then we haven't seen him since then.
No, Dunk. Egg was on Dunk's shoulders, and it was like when the first like kind of scenes of the tournament, and he was on his horse. Yes. And then Dunk asks him, "Who's that?" And then Egg is like, "Oh, that's Prince Valar, Baelor's like heir or something like that." And that's Egg's
one with
cousin,
the white stripe, right?
He's
the white part.
Mostly dark haired like his dad, and then he has the white stripe in his hair.
Yeah, and then he tries to say some nice words to him, and says his father was a great man, and then he says, he died in my armor. Plenty of sons have died in their father's armor. How many fathers have died in their sons? And then just something to think on. And he's like, I could not tell you. Like he's like, he doesn't have the words back for him, right? And then the same thing. He's like, how come the gods favored you? Like, how did you? This man was supposed to be a great king. Like, why did you survive and he didn't? Right? Like again, pondering the. He's like, I've been asking myself the same question, he says to him, right? Like,
I mean, even if he's a knight or not, right? Like he's still even if they still believe in that, they're gonna wonder why they still picked him. The gods picked him over it.
These guys are the worst. Listen, your stupid brother's the one that asked for this trial of like these guys are the biggest like hypocrites.
It's your son.
They literally put themselves in these positions and then they whine about it.
That's why there's the fall of the Targaryens.
They feel like they're untouchable, and exactly, Jay. Exactly.
All the inbred. They screwed themselves up. They became spoiled. They became fucking too full of themselves.
Power for forever. Like there's
a lot of talk. Rulers. there's a lot. Sorry, I was just gonna say there's a lot of talk about that towards the end of this episode, like about the whole idea of like living like a peasant as a hedge knight, and like maybe this would do him some good, like to learn how to like, you know what I mean, not look down on others. Look at your other two piece of shit sons, how they turned out. Like that was like basically what he says to him in that moment to Makar. And you know, I know it's jumping ahead, and that's when he's like, but he's my last son. Like he's like, this is I can finally, you know, get it right this time, kind of thing, right? Like, but no, like you know, that's a whole other thing. But I get that part of it too. I really do, like, because it's true. They've grown up as these people who they think they're gods or think they're dragons. Right? You know what I mean? Like that's why their attitude is such. It's so shitty. Right.
Yeah, so that's why they can just throw out suggestions like trial by combat or trial of the 7 or something. And it's like they don't think that they will lose.
And then like another examination, like I said, like they kind of like there's deeper stuff that they're kind of like talking about here through the narrative is like, you know, they go kind of to the nature versus nurture thing as well. Like, did he turn into a shitbag or was he a shitbag from birth? Like they talked about like later on with Arion and all that. Like they're like, you know what I mean? Like there's like the whole thing where like, you know, they talk about like coming out in the womb, like being like that in the womb. Like, was he evil to begin with, or is that something that
and that goes back to like the quote we're so used to is like every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. Right. And it's like, are they going to be good or are they not?
Right.
You know, mad or not. So it's.
Yeah. And then this is like such a time where they like literally, again, they all have like the same names and lineage and like, you know, there is all that inbreeding going on. And it's at the point where like, at this point in time, everybody's studying like the family tree, like, right? Like they know they can literally be like, oh yeah, well look how many terrible people there have been in this line.
To be fair though, like I'll just comment on that piece. I think around this time is when they start matching up and betrothing to other houses to keep their bloodline strong and to keep it to keep their alliances strong too, because they are dwindling. Because if you like, I mean, if you look at family trees from this moment kind of moving forward, there's a lot less inbreeding than there was prior, like in House of the Dragon times.
I'm speaking from House of the Dragon times, clearly.
Right. No, like, I know, but that it's like to that point, it's like I think they realize like not only does it make for deformed and deranged people, but it also like they don't have any alliances anymore. They're not. They don't have dragons, so they have to bolster
on other.
They have to bolster their alliances in other ways, and so it's like, okay, marry my daughter or marry my son, and well, mostly daughter because it's passed down through the boys. Looks like, and so that's another.
Yeah, because that's like, you got to think of the context behind this for sure, because it does add a lot to like, because like we've talked about already, this is them at a very fractured period where their family is not as strong as they were back on the House of the Dragon, let's say. And even there, they were having problems, honestly. But then, like, at least at this point, and they're not very well liked at this point either. Like, they're clearly not well liked,
not respected. Like, they might be like, you know, their current king, Darren the Good. Like, he's the good, right? So it's like I don't think people have an issue with him specifically, but they just don't agree with the Targaryen,
right?
Whatever. Okay. Like, they just don't respect them as a house anymore.
So yeah, he says, you know, he mentions, you know, he had it in him. He was still young to be a great king, maybe the greatest. Why would the gods take him and leave you? And Duck replies, I've wondered the same. He tells him, be gone with you, Sir Duncan. And that scene ends. He then goes by the campgrounds. People are seen packing up. You know, we're seeing them all kind of packing up. The tournament's over, or they're there for like their last day. And he catches up with Raymond Fossaway in this scene. And he asked him if he came back from the funeral. He's surprised that he went. Dunk says, everyone blames me for his death, don't they? And Raymond says he doesn't, and gives him a hug. A very long hug, to which Dunk has to basically break it up. He's like, all right, that's enough now. Like, he's in there, like, hugging him. And then something that I talked about last episode that was in the notes, like that they added to, was this is where we kind of see the separation of the Fossaway kind of like house between the green apple Fossaways and the red apple Fossaways, because he mentions here that his brother, the Lord now is Lord Fossaway. Yeah, he basically is separated from him after he says you didn't stay true to like the family by sticking with him and fighting against him. And this is where Dunk basically, he says, oh, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. And he's like, oh, no, don't be. He's just mad because his cousin beat him in the tournament or whatever, right? And this is why he's acting this way. But I had mentioned in the notes that last episode is something that they had added was that this is the eventuality of what happens to this house, like in the books and stuff, and this creates this rift within the family, within the house, right? Which is kind of interesting how there's two apple colors represented here as a result of this moment, right? So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. I personally thought the green apple looked like a bell pepper. So whoever painted that needs to repaint that.
That's a good point. It wasn't the best apple. But let's talk about though the very interesting reveal here. I know Jay wants to get to this. So basically, Rowan is her name, suddenly comes out of a tent and says good morning, and then they end up kissing, and Raymond gives him a little wink, and it's one of the prostitutes from earlier in the season that was cheering for them in the crowd, and that we've seen there at the camp, pleasuring people throughout the season.
Starts to question how smart is the Apple guy.
Well, listen, we can get into this. She's seen an opportunity. She's clearly there, like to kind of like, you know what I mean? Like have someone, she wants to be a lady. She wants to be a royalty, of course, right? She's seen an opportunity. I can't fault her for that. Listen, he wanted to turn a hoe into a housewife with this decision. I'm sure she's very good at her job. She seemed to be caring for him. She was bringing them his food and everything. Like it seemed like a very happy marriage right from the get-go.
In the first 24 hours, it's great for everybody in the first 24 hours.
I'm just saying it's a transactional kind of thing that's going on here too. She gets a lot out of this as well. She
obviously found out she was pregnant during the tournament and was like, what the hell am I going to do now?
I know. He's like,
oh. Well, I mean, looks like she's almost got a half a baby in there already. Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like, how much time has gone by?
It's probably been like a week, maybe 2 weeks. Like you can't get pregnant and know you're pregnant like in 35 seconds.
He sleeps with her, and he's like, "Oh,
how stupid is he?"
He's a dumbass.
She's child. She's with child already. You know this.
I think it's a boy, and it's like, you hear that? I got a boy.
And he's so flustered, just like, oh yeah, she's tending to my wounds, and then the next thing you know,
she's taking off my armor, and and he's like,
listen, I can't fault her for moving in on that situation. I'm just saying. I mean, it sucks for Raymond, I guess. I don't know. Like he seemed happy,
but she's tapping, going, it feels like a boy.
Listen, like we've seen some of the other people on this show, on these shows. He could do a lot worse. That's all I'm gonna say. Like she looks fine to me. Like I mean, I get it. She's like a lady of the night there, but, but like, listen, if he knew what was going on before he started making out with her there at this point in the tournament, then maybe he wouldn't know. I don't know. Do we think Raymond was a virgin prior to this though? Like, do you think that was like his first being this gullible about this whole situation? Like, how old is he? Right? He can't be that old. He's a squire. Yes. He was a squire. Yeah, he was a squire.
Yeah.
So there you go. She moved.
He's gonna be his 20s, 21.
You know what she was doing.
Can I just throw in a fun fact here?
Yeah, sure.
This woman is the grandmother of Roz, the prostitute that was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so the prostitution keeps going and it stays in. Doesn't matter through generations.
In like season 1 with Reek, like when Theon.
When are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, that is a fun fact. Holy cow.
I've been holding that one in my holster.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. So there you go. It's clearly not. Listen, Jay, it's the oldest profession for a reason. Okay.
Fucking goes through yet.
Don't I think she's a great grandmother. Sorry, not grandmother. It's too many.
I was about to say that's like 100 years from now.
Fucking survived the plague, everything, dude.
Yeah, no, great grandmother. Yeah.
Listen, he could have did a lot worse. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, she knew what she was doing. She did bamboozle him.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, but the funniest
Oh,
part though is
fuck.
like Dunk doesn't have like the heart to tell him in that moment. She
Dude.
even pretends like this is the first time they're meeting. She's like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and he's like, "Ah, okay,
Oh,
yeah,
Sir
sure, yeah."
Duncan. Nice to meet
But like he's like
it's like,
winking and giggling. He's smitten by this woman, so he's like, "Ah, whatever. Let him have his fun. He's gonna go live on an orchard, make cider. Who cares?" She just wanted to be a lady, right? So like at her house. So she's like, whatever, I'll go with this guy. So, oh yeah, she was taken by my fighting in the trial of the seven. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. He didn't even look like he had many scars on him. He looked like he was walking with a little limp. Poor Dunk has got half his eye missing. I don't even know if it's under there still. Did he open the second one by the end of the episode?
Yeah, like the swelling had gone down after like a few more weeks or whatever.
So yeah. Oh yeah, this I wrote down this quote though. Feels like a boy. You hear that? Feels like a boy. Oh man. Okay. So the horses come up.
She's good.
Horses come up during this exchange and they tell Dunk Prince Maekar would like word. He agrees to go. He says congrats, says his goodbyes to them and to Raymond and his new wife, Rowan, Jay. Her name's Rowan.
Rowan? She keeps rowing. That's what I'm telling you.
There you go. That's a paddling. He walks into Maekar's chambers and he says he's sending Arion to the east. A few years in the free cities may change him for the better. Some men will say I meant to kill my brother. The gods know it is a lie, but I will hear the whispers till the day I die. A little poetic there from Maekar, like his little saying there. But he basically, he says like no matter what people say of he's really again relying on the gods here of like, oh yeah, well they wouldn't have let this happen if they didn't want it, right? But people will say I'm responsible because he is responsible.
Yes.
And he's like, you swung the mace, my lord. I do appreciate that he didn't hold back, though. He's like, you are the one who swung the mace at him. And he's like, and then he's like, you will hear the whispers as well. He's like, they'll say it was because of you that he died, right? People will say as a result, right? They'll blame you just in the same way they blame me. And then he basically says every time a crop will die or a battle is lost, the fools will say Baelor wouldn't have let that happen. And it's so true. Again, it's just the way that people think, right? Like he's not wrong. Like he's basically already foretelling the future of what people will tell in the tales of this event, which is that's what happened. I just thought that was very. He is smart, like what he was saying.
It's insightful, like to think that way. And it's like not many people think like 10 steps ahead when they're making especially in Game of Thrones. You see it all the time. You're not thinking 10 steps ahead. You're thinking about what the next step is, but you're not thinking about the next step. Like 10 steps
people rarely learn from their mistakes on this show. Like that's
and
why
it happens every day. Like even today, like in this instance, it's like nobody's paying attention to like what like 10 steps from now is.
Yeah.
And what their impact of their choices are now.
Yeah, history will repeat itself. Like that's evident even throughout Game of Thrones. Like we see that even through Game of Thrones between shows now. Like we were going through some of the notes for this series, and they were like, "Hey, this scene is kind of like what happened in Game of Thrones, or this scene was kind of like what happened in House of the Dragon." And it's just
this was kind of the opposite though, because if you think about like like sibling on sibling or family on family fighting in Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, like nobody really has any remorse or it's all about vengeance and it's all about revenge. And it's because even like Baelor's son Valar, like he's not looking to take down his uncle for swinging the mace. Right. He's not looking, the tone doesn't seem that way.
Right.
So it's like this is just very insightful, and it does really look like Maekar is grieving the loss of his good brother. Like he's not prepared, because even the fact that it's like, oh well, Maekar can just kill off Valar and just then he's next in line. Now he's like, there's not even conversation of that. The tone is not about that at all. Like everyone seems to be very, very remorseful and sad that this happened. So it's again just different. It's just a different tone. It's a different energy than what we're used to with all the like power
Mhm.
plays and the next steps, and okay, how can we take advantage of this situation?
Yeah, no, good observations, honestly. Yeah, you're right. And that's why, like, the first time around when I saw this, I was like, it felt like the same, like he was going through the motions of like the people reacting in the same way to this tragedy. Right.
Yeah.
So like that's why I it wasn't until I kind of watched it the second time where it was really sinking in how it was different for everybody that was dealing with it in a way. Like it was like you said, like he obviously has different things going for him and his place in things than Dunk does, right? But they both share that fact that they both are not going to have to they're not going to be able to let this down. What happened here? Like that's what he was trying to say. Like this is going to haunt us for forever now. Like whatever.
Yeah, it's in the books. It's in history,
right? So
as we know.
So yeah, they basically then he says, they'll just say, yeah, but the hedge knight killed them, when he says about like the fools, like not, thinking if he would have the crops wouldn't fail or whatever, the battle wouldn't be lost. And then he says, like, listen, I thought about it, and if I hadn't, you would have taken my hand or my foot, and I asked myself under the tree that morning, could I have spared one of those? And how was a hand worth a prince's life?
This guy's just too nice of a guy.
And then Jay, he says the line of the show in your eyes. And what answer does your tree give you?
That's right. That's right.
And then he goes into talking about every day at evening fall, Sir Arlen would say, I wonder what the morrow will bring. Hence the name of this episode, right? And, tomorrow's another day, right? Kind of that way of thinking. Maybe one morrow will come where I'll be in need of that foot, or the realm will be in need of my foot. And he's like, not bloody likely, says Makar. He's like, the realm has as many hedge knights as there are hedges. Which is like, how many times can they insult this guy? I was like, come on, dude. Like, you're both there reminiscing about your dead brother, and he's just like, nah, you're an idiot. You're useless. No one cares.
He's still Makar at the end of the day. He's still who he is. So it's just like,
But he shows a bit of humanity this episode that I feel like we haven't seen thus far, right? So, anyways, he then changes the subject. He goes on to say that his youngest son has grown very fond of him, and it is time for him to become a squire. But he says he will serve no knight but you. He is an unruly boy, as I'm sure you've noticed. And he's like, no, he's a good boy that needs a stern hand. He asks if he will have him, says there is a place for him at Summerhall, and he can swear his sword to Makar, and Aegon will squire for him while you train him, and my master of arms will finish your own training. So he basically rolls out the red carpet for this guy because of the respect that Aeg has for him, saying like, all you gotta do.
Baelor, his brother, his brother respected him enough to like go fight with him.
It's not a bad deal. It's really not a bad deal. But again, if you don't believe in this guy or serving these people, I get how that could be a deal breaker for you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But especially after everything that transpired, like I wouldn't feel safe going there. Even though, again, he reassures them, yeah, I'm going to send Arion off. My kid loves you. Listen, this is terrible what happened. Like, come, work for me, essentially. And he's like, no, I think I've had enough of princes and I've had enough of this. He kind of declines his offer right there and then, right? I think, which was interesting because a lot of people would have jumped at that opportunity that he got, especially given the fact that he showed up to this tournament as no one and with nothing and no one. And yet here he is being offered to, work for the king in a way, right? Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sir Arlen, I'm sure he did much for you, but you still have much to learn. He says, beg your pardon, my lord, but I think I'm done with princes. Aeg is listening by a doorway when this all happens. Dunk sees him on his way out. He asks if he was spying. He says no. Despite him saying that he knows that he heard the whole thing, he just sits down beside him and he's like, Aeg asks how he's doing, and he just kind of says, listen, he clearly doesn't want to talk about it. He says, listen, I can't, Aeg, because he knows. He's like, I can't. I'm sorry. And Aeg replies, heartbroken. Maybe you're not the knight I thought you were, and leaves. Very heartbroken in this moment. It was a sad moment with him, I think. You know, clearly it's just like, yeah, I thought better of you and you'd let me down kind of thing, right? So
Yeah.
Oh, kids, the pull at your heartstrings.
this, of course, cuts to a flashback of him sitting with Sir Arlen. He's telling him stories, and he tries to interrupt him with a question. Sir Arlen tells him how it is customary when the Lord calls his banners and sends them off to war. It's customary for each one to nail a penny into the oak in the square of the tree, and if we return, we take it down. And it's a great oak tree, Jay. But he mentions, yet it's often hard to find a spare bit to nail a new penny in, basically alluding to the fact so many people don't come back from war, right? Like that's why the penny stays in the tree. And this is when he kind of seems to be drifting off there. And Dunk asks him, why did you never knight me, sir? Like, and he's staring off into the distance.
Waiting for the answer.
He looks like he's dying. Who the hell knows? And then
I thought he was dead, bro.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then he wakes up and continues his story. But like when he asks him, like, well, how come you didn't knight me? He starts to say, like, were you afraid that I would leave you? Like, why? Like he's trying to find like a human response from him, and he just doesn't get around to answering him. Again, further alluding to the fact that this guy was never knighted, and you know, it was interesting. For a moment there, I didn't know if it was him imagining that he was there with him or if it was a genuine flashback. Did you guys feel the same, or did you just know it was a genuine?
I just felt like it was a flashback. To me, it didn't seem like.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't injured, he wasn't nothing. He was just sitting there. He kind of looked, you know, it wasn't like. That's why I just wasn't imagining things and like this was a flashback. It had to be because. Otherwise, he would have had marks on him. He would have had that swollen eye if he was just all of a sudden appearing.
Oh,
to
good
him,
point.
You know,
I didn't notice that. Yeah, it took me a second. I thought, because, you know, even if you look at the end of the episode, there's moments where he imagines him being with him, right? Like on the battlefield or at the end when they're all on the horses and he goes one way and they go the other way. So I didn't know if this was like, again, they keep going back to this kind of, they're keeping this theory alive of whether or not he ever actually did get officially knighted by him, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, clearly it's something that they're going for here.
I don't think he did. I think that's the point.
Right. At the end of this season, with that being in this episode, it's pretty definitive now, right?
Yeah. He was never officially knighted by Sir Arlen.
So was this also him on his deathbed in this scene? Because remember, he died under the tree?
Same,
right.
Yeah, it's the same scene. Because if you look, the horses are in the background.
So
they're under that tree.
Never knighted him.
Landscape is he never. I don't think he ever knighted him. That was that was the purpose, I think, of this scene, because it's been like on his mind, on Dunk's mind, on his conscience. Like, you know, especially now, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have fought.
Yes.
Like I'm not a true knight. Like I was never truly knighted. Anyways, because even remember when Sir Raymond Fossaway was like, knight me, any knight can knight a knight.
We talked.
And he kind of hesitated. Yeah. He said he would do it, but then Lionel steps in and was like,
oh, that was
I'll do it.
The biggest indicator of it, like for me, like that scene, like I was like, why would he you know, like, but there was always like something you could also have chalked it up to. They were very smart about how they presented this throughout the season, because there, even in that instance, you could be like, oh, he was nervous, like, you know what I mean? Like there was always,
of course, because he just doesn't want to be responsible for knighting somebody who may die on his, you know. But yeah, it's twofold, yeah, for sure.
And now he's so far into it, he can't admit to any of these people. Like he could literally have turned to Lionel, but he'd be like, knight me, and then he'd become a knight right there and then, because he knows him now. But for him to turn and like that, to tell them he deceived them all, like, you know what I mean? Like that's a terrible thing that he did.
Well, and especially, especially now Baelor's dead, but they all are so into like what the gods have in store for them.
Right.
Like if they found out that like Dunk wasn't a knight, like it would just be chaotic. Like it would just be crazy. He probably wouldn't be alive.
Okay, so so I'm glad you clarified that this was the definitive, like that's why they did that. That's what I was thinking, but I also I still wasn't sure. Like I really wasn't, because I'm like, they kind of kept going back to it. But you're right, like that being in this episode, I think, and him kind of going off on his own at the end, I guess was like signifying that like now it's like he's on his own now. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and And then he basically says, and that's why they call it a penny tree, as he kind of jerks back awake there.
He goes, night never, what does he say? Night never, or he doesn't, true night never finishes the story.
Always finishes the story, yeah.
But he totally didn't hear anything that Duncan said there. That's the best part. He must have stopped breathing for a second.
They are then at the Beesbury and Harding funeral, and there is bees covering the coffin. There's bees.
Watch out.
Like a beehive coffin. This house is pretty sick, like with the design of things.
But how did they get the bees to all gather like that?
Then Rowan and his new wife, Rowan, and and Raymond are discussing this possibility, how they're able to pull this off,
and that's how they figured out beekeeping. Sorry.
Yeah. And Dunk continues to feel sorry for himself. Dunk sees Daron sitting Dunk alone across the way from him at the funeral, and basically asks him if he has no shame coming here. Those men are dead because of you. And he asks him if he will still take Egg to Squire. And he says, I told your father he's none of my concern. And Daron says, my brother wasn't always such a little monster. And Dunk basically thinks he's talking about Egg. He's like, he was never a monster. He's like, no, I was talking about Arion. Seeds
of fishing.
Yeah, seeds of madness are sown in the womb. This is what I was referring to earlier that he references here. He was once, he says he liked fishing. He was once a good boy, like a glad boy or something, he says. Glad child.
Glad child,
Yeah. Like what happened? What happened between then and now to make him the way he is? Like he's pondering that himself.
Life.
Well,
most of us in this world can say that, bro.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Well, sure. You can become jaded through life experiences sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
But the reality of it is, that's why they always talk about it when it comes to like serial killers and people like that, Jay, as you know, about the nature versus nurture thing. Is it society that made them this way? Is there something like some trauma that made them this way? Or was it always embedded in them that they were going to turn out this way? I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's what triggers that gene. There's a gene, I think, in everybody that does it, man. And you know what? It's what triggers that. And whether it's nurture or nature, they still can't figure it out. I guarantee you that much, because it is, even with serial killers. Right? I'm not trying to compare it.
Well, I think you should compare it. This guy's pretty crazy, this character. Like,
but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, really, it could be either or. It's hard to tell. Like, this could be a nurture thing because it is family driven.
I think it's more the family dynamic in this.
And I think that's why,
personally, because they allude to that as the episode continues on, right? So
yeah,
I mean,
when he was asked about if he would take him to Squire, right?
But then why would it happen with some kids and not happen with like 8? You know what I mean? Like but then there's that madness aspect that we know even goes.
Well, he says, let me take him away from the castles and the rich and the,
as we know from Game of Thrones, there is that aspect of the Targaryens where there's a switch that gets flipped, basically, right? As we know from, the Khaleesi.
It could just be like a genetic trait, like one of those genetic traits that like just gets passed down and they just don't know. Like that it's schizophrenia or like bipolar disorder.
Back then I didn't know.
And a lot of those things like don't manifest themselves, especially with schizophrenia. Like, not to get like too technical here, but like, schizophrenia, like it doesn't manifest until, especially with young men, until they're like 18 to 20 years old. So it's like you could have a completely normal, happy, healthy childhood. And I'm not saying people that have schizophrenia don't, but it's like, they don't show signs or symptoms of the mental illness until they turn like 18 years old. And then it like blows up and it's like, what the heck? Like what happened? And it just, for whatever reason, that's when it kicks off.
Right.
So
yeah, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors.
Who knows? Maybe this was a form of that, like, that just kind of manifests, and they just called it madness, but they called it like the dragon because they had no other term for it.
Right.
I don't know.
You know what?
It's worth exploring, right?
When you're the male and there's like 4 other ones, there's going to be that. There's going to be that one.
Yeah, Jay, tell us more about that experience.
To look back, to look and always have to watch over your shoulder because of the ones that want to kill you because you're heir to the throne. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you must know a lot about that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know. So I'm always, seeing the big picture, if you know what I mean.
So then we cut to Egg sitting in his bed chambers. He catches a glimpse of himself in the mirror and how the blonde peach fuzz is setting in again on his
Fuck.
head.
That looks so weird, eh?
Reminded of why he cut it in the first place, he grabs a knife and goes to Arion's room where he's sitting up injured from the fight. And his father, Makar, is in the shadows in the corner of the room and catches him in this, possible act that he's about to commit. And I really like this scene. He basically he comes over and he ends up like grabbing him and he drops the knife and he's crying already before he even drops the knife because he was kind of questioning whether or not he was actually going to kill his brother in that moment for how things played out. And I just really like that moment. It was a nice, like, quiet moment where you could see like the pain in his face of like catching him about to maybe do that, but also not knowing what to do, like in that moment, like he's just like, this is like, what's going on with
that could be a very pivotal moment too in that kid's life.
Right.
In
he says a lot. He says a lot by not saying anything.
Yeah, even with just that little hug really to his son.
Yeah, like embracing him. You know what I mean? Like it was.
I thought he was gonna say, "Do it," like a real Game of Thrones fashion. Just do it, because he sees him holding the knife.
Especially after that conversation that he had with Dunk. Like, I think it like opened up. I mean, not the conversation he's going to have, but
right
after this.
Yeah.
But like, I think the conversation that I think he's just feeling like all the things. So I think Makar is really just like,
right. Well, again, just like between this scene that's about to come up here, this one, and like even like the Lionel stuff at the start of the episode, there was a lot of really solid scenes that gave you a lot to think about like the characters and like their lot in life right now. Like they're like where they, really, again, I just, I'm glad that I watched it a second time because I really didn't have any of these takeaways until like really kind of thinking about like what everyone was going through mentally in this episode. Right. Did you guys all watch this more than once as well, this episode, or? Yeah.
I watched it twice today.
Okay. So,
but it was actually the first episode, just on that fact or that note. It was actually the first episode or one of the only episodes where I didn't feel like I needed to watch it again. I was very satisfied with the first. I got it all, like the whole thing. I picked up on it right, like almost right away. Like I'm like, okay, I'm very satisfied with this, and I'm not used to that feeling at all. So
I was the same way, but that's why I took it as, oh, I didn't really care for this episode as much because I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I don't really need to rewatch this one. And then I'm like, oh, I got to take the notes. So I got to watch it again. And yeah, so I'm really happy that I did because I got way more from it the second time, despite knowing, but I didn't get too deep with it though. You were kind of thinking about all these things while watching.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe because I know a little bit of the backstory, right? So it's like, for me, it's just like, I feel content. I feel fine with what is happening because I kind of already know the direction that they're going. Right. So I don't need anything more. I think this was like a great episode. Anyways, that was just my thoughts.
Good to hear.
But I'm happy I watched it again a second time. It just wasn't as like serious for me to watch it a second time. I just did it just because I knew we were reviewing it, and I just wanted obviously to refresh her just to make sure I'm whatever. But
so someone knocks on the door, and he basically says what after he's like embracing his son there, and he's like, Sir Duncan requests an audience with them. This is a scene now where Lady Gwyn, who is the daughter of Lord Ashford, walks up and tells Dunk that she does not blame him for ruining her name day during the tournament. And it's rotten what they've done to you. And you were right in your reply, which I thought, like, Dunk just sheepishly is like, yeah, thanks.
I was like, this is like a throwaway scene. This is like, what the fuck is this? Well, it's just to introduce her, I guess, in that sense, maybe. But to also say he gave, but to give her the woman. To give her like a woman's perspective on it, that what he did was noble by saying.
I don't even think it's because it's a woman's perspective. I just think it was like we never really got to hear what hurt. That's the one thing I was going to say earlier, and I forgot about the complaint. My one complaint really about this episode. What the hell happened to that whole storyline? What was the point of that whole Lord Ashford storyline about them being broke and then him possibly winning that tournament, and then that never even basically came to pass. There was no tournament other than the trial of 7. That's how they ended the tournament. Like what exactly, like this is,
he got his life and his feet and his hands to walk away
Christina,
with.
if you remember at all, Christina, this is where I wouldn't mind if you do know the behind the scenes on this one.
No,
did that ever play out in the book? Do we ever revisit this storyline? Because this seemed like a completely abandoned storyline in this season, which for no reason that they did that.
Like I said before, I feel like the book I read was not
the right book,
the same, but okay. It was. I know it was. I don't remember what that was all about. And
that bugged me though. It really, like, I'm like, what was the point of that whole story? Like, it was an abandoned storyline in the middle of the season where they're like,
unless it was just because it's like they wouldn't have brought it up if they weren't going to talk about it because they didn't have enough time to talk about anything. Like, you know what I mean? It seems very intentional, but I think it was intentional for Dunk's character building because at the time, like in that, it was like episode 2 or whatever that came up, or episode, it wasn't episode 3, it must have been episode 2 when that came up.
Yeah.
And it's like we're just getting to learn about this character, and I think it was just another like piece that we as the audience can use when trying to figure out like what Dunk's moral character is like. And it helped us like build this like idea of him as being this loyal and noble and, you know, charismatic and likable character, because he's not
I get he's not a fighter. Yeah, he's not the fighter. He's not
like whatever. So I think that was the point.
I get what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense, but they could have done that in other ways, and I would argue they did do that in other ways. That seems like a waste of a storyline to even just throw. Like, the only takeaway we got from that, other than possibly like another character moment, like kind of mention, like I meant character moment in the sense that we're talking about Dunk's character as a person, like, you know what I mean, like his honor and all that kind of stuff.
That's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, like, but other than that, the only takeaway that we have from that storyline is them mentioning that the Ashfords are broke. That's literally the only thing that you got out of that storyline, other than what you had mentioned there, like it adding to the Dunk kind of like, is he honorable or not kind of thing. Because I just feel like we had so many opportunities and other things that kind of illustrated that just seems like a waste of like. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. And the episode runtime is not like their hours or half an hour, and everything's very tight. It just seems like an odd choice to even go down that road with that storyline if it wasn't going to actually. And then, like Jay said, you have this moment here where she's like on screen for 1 minute just to say like, "Hey, I'm in your corner," and he's like, "Thanks." And then it's like, you know, you didn't need that. Like, right? Like, you didn't need that moment. Like, it was fine, but. It wasn't like, it's very odd. The whole Ashford part of this and the tournament just seems like a whole abandoned part of this story where they're just like, they never came back to it.
Well, I still think Christina's right about the character building. I get where you're going with it, but I also think he wasn't in it.
What I'm saying,
he wasn't
not necessary.
No, he wasn't in it, but it's to prove that he wasn't really in anything for the money. He just did it because he didn't have anything at that moment. He was gonna be, if everything is the truth. I mean, he's not a knight, so he doesn't really have anything unless he goes and whatever. So, you know, he's got his horses and that's it, really.
I don't know. It kind of bothers me, though. Like, that's the one thing that stuck out to me where I'm just like, I even mentioned it like 2 episodes ago or whatever after the trial of 7. I'm like, what's going on with the tournament? You know what I mean? Like,
I just did a quick like Google, like,
pretty sure they're all beat up
or whatever.
Okay.
And so the mention of the Ashford debt and the plot to fix the match for Dunk serves several critical narrative and thematic purposes, even if that specific plot line does not unfold as planned. The primary reasons for this inclusion were to illustrate the corruption of the chivalric system,
right?
Highlight Dunk's personal honor, and provide a desperate financial ruin backdrop to the tournament.
Right. Yeah, so that is basically what you said and what I said about them being broke and everything. That's literally all that was supposed to illustrate was that story. Oh, I don't know. That seems like a little odd to me, but like, you know, it's fine. I'm not like, it didn't ruin.
Oh, we don't know where he's going to go from here.
Yes.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, that answers that. Thank you for looking that up. No, because it is a weird way to approach it is all I'm saying. Like, really, like, because usually we expect a bit of a payoff after a setup so elaborate to the point where he explains how he's gonna win and how they're gonna bet, and you know what I mean. Like there's this whole explanation, and then it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, never mind, never mind that storyline, right? So
yeah.
anyways, I'm glad there's an answer to it though. So clearly it was a choice. Makar shows up and tells him to speak quick and leave this place. Dunk says, before your brother died, he said he needed good men and that he will take Egg to Squire. He says he might be better served away from castles and servants. Makar butts in and it says, and family. And Dunk says, if you would consent, I'd bring him on the road with me. You have him like learn to squire like I did. We will sleep in inns and stables, sometimes lesser lordlings spots, and maybe under a tree sometimes. Makar says he forbids him to live like a peasant. Aegon is blood of the dragon. He can't do that. And he mentions how his other sons have fared not doing. How have your other sons fared in basically being this way? And Makar says, but he's my last son. And he's like clearly having trouble like letting go of getting it right with him. And he clearly cares a lot for Egg and clearly cares that he doesn't want to screw this one up as well, like his other sons, right? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So good scene again. Very good scene. Like again, where he shows like some like humanity in the sense like he does care, and I get why he doesn't want to let him go, but I also get where Dunk was coming from, where he's like he might benefit from living like this for a bit.
Yeah.
It'll show him another side of this world.
Humanity.
Exactly. But I get it. I get both of their perspectives on this. I really can't blame either of their choices, honestly, in this moment, because I as much as I want to say like Makar is wrong and Dunk is right, I can't say that personally. I don't think it's the right. I don't know. No, well, like again, from our perspective, yes, he's wrong. Dunk has the right idea. And Egg is clearly interested in doing that too, as we see at the end of this episode. But it's just like, it's hard to say. Like, I get where he's coming from, and also it's a scary world out there. Like to leave your son with some guy, like I don't know, like it's
sleeping in ditches, especially if he doesn't need to.
Right. It's easier said than done, is all I'm saying. Like I get it. Like I would have concerns. Like how old is he? He's young. He's like he's like 9 or something in this, right?
Yeah, he's like 9 or 10 or something.
So, I don't know. Dunk is packing up to leave when Sweetfoot walks up to him. Raymond got her back for him, and he kind of has a moment with Sweetfoot, but then he says, he can't take her, and he offers him up to Raymond, who says, she would like an orchard, to live in an orchard. I'm sure better. He ends up feeding her an apple right there and then, one of those green apples he always has. And Raymond mentions, so yeah, I know. And we got to see Sweetfoot again, Christina. See, she made off pretty good here.
I know. I was so happy to see her. I was like, Sweetfoot. And Lewis is like, what? I'm like, oh, you don't get it.
And this is where Raymond mentions, he's like, hey, so what are you going to get up to now anyways? And he's like, oh, I might get into the cider business when we get back home. It's fantastic. This honestly sounds like, listen, he's got a wife, he's got Sweetfoot, he's got a cider business.
Yeah, something came out of this tournament for him.
Yeah, listen, he's got away from his stupid cousin that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, he made off pretty good. And this is when Dunk goes to nail a penny in the tree, like Sir Ellen's story here in this scene here. And I believe that is the tree, right?
The tree, bro. That
he died. So there you go. As he starts to walk away with Chestnut, that's the other name of the horse, and we get to the other name here in a moment.
Thunder and Chestnut, yeah.
Thunder, that's it, yeah. He walks away with Chestnut, and he mutters to himself, like, I don't know where the old man would go, like, from here. Like, he doesn't know what to do next. Egg runs up to him and says, his Lord Father said he is to serve him. He's like, that's, Sir Duncan, and Chestnut's yours. I don't want to find you on Thunder unless I put you there.
Yeah.
And this is when Egg asks him where they are headed, and Dunk says he doesn't know, but he mentions, somewhere in the 7 kingdoms. Egg corrects him and says 9. Dunk laughs and calls him mad. And then he goes ahead and mentions all 9 and mentions how everybody else is wrong because there's 9 kingdoms in the realm. And he's like, but everyone, he says 7. He's like, no, but it's 9. Crownlands, Westerlands, Stormlands, Riverlands, Iron Islands, the North, the Reach, the Vale of Arryn, and Dorne. Those are the 9, apparently, kingdoms. Dunk is so confused in this moment, but he's like, but no. He's like, there's 7. He's like, you know, and then basically it's a nice really thing that they do. You see them walking into the distance on the horses. You see Sir Arlen there with him on the horse by their side, but then he cuts into the field and goes one way as they go along the path the other way. And then they cut the black. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, he Paul Walkered his Fast
Yes,
and Furious
right.
way out of there.
The Wiz Khalifa song started playing.
It's been a long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes off, and that might be the last of that we see him like in his mind, so like and like that. And as they go on, it cuts the black, and all of a sudden it changes. Instead of the night of the 7 kingdoms, it says the night of the 9 kingdoms. Fade to black again. Epilogue time. Makar has a Home Alone moment. It's going up and down like the line of them all leaving the campgrounds now, all of the Targaryens. He's like, where the fuck is Aegon?
Where's Aegon? Have you seen him? Where is he?
Nowhere to be seen.
I'll go ask the squire, sir. And he's like, yeah, where is he? And then that's it.
Do you know how many memes I saw in this particular scene about like, oh yeah, there's Arion like serving face one last time, like, you know, and I'm just like, that's what you picked up from this, like the whole.
Because there's that one scene of him when they cut to this scene of him on the horse, and he's like, yeah, you could just see him. I don't think he's all that. This guy, come on. But
no, we don't hear anything about Ariana too much later on.
But I did relate it to Home Alone though in this scene where he's like, where the fuck is he? Like we lost him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So did you guys see that coming? Because Christine did. I did not. I actually did think he had a change of heart before they cut to that epilogue when he showed up at the end there. But I guess I should have known better, because how many times has this kid already snuck away from his family here in this season, right? Did you see it?
I didn't see it coming, no.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, but when it happened, I was like, of course. Like I was like, of course, like, you know.
Right. Yeah, you weren't surprised.
So I was happy that that's how it ended, because it just added extra excitement for me to like, okay, what's the next season gonna bring? Like this is amazing.
I know. I can't wait now. Like, I really can. Like, this is very exciting where they left it about them going on in their adventures together, right? And this is where, you know, Jay mentioned earlier he got the song name as well. They play a song at the end that's called 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford, which when I looked it up is apparently considered a blue-collar worker song. And it kind of works with the whole Hedge Knight theme in the sense that, you know, they're going to go out there on their own and kind of do their thing. I like the tune at the end, but again, just a tune from another time, and that doesn't really fit like the overall like tone usually of the show. And when I was looking up people commenting on it, they mentioned that that's why it's considered like more of like a blue collar kind of type of song. Yeah. So maybe that's why they chose to play it here at the end with them going out on their own with the whole Hedge Knight part of it, right?
Yeah.
So. So that there you go, that's the episode. Really fitting end, and I'm really looking forward to our return to this storyline. Very good.
Should be interesting, man. I can't wait to see what happens, where they're gonna end up next.
Personally, feel like they should have ended the episode with like the Leave It to Beaver theme song. I think that would have been like more iconic.
That
one. Yeah.
That's not Leave It to Beaver. That's that's not Leave It to Beaver. I know which one you're talking about though. That's the other.
Is that not Leave It to Beaver?
No, it's not Leave It to Beaver. The Leave It to Beaver is different. That one is that's something else.
I know the song. I know the beat that you're doing yet. I can't think of the song.
I swear I thought it was Leave It to Be. Okay, then I'm corrected. Anyways, but you know what I mean? Like that, something like that.
Yeah. I forgot what that one's called. I know what that show is from. That's gonna bug me now. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yes, that would have been interesting if they did that. So little piece of fun fact here, though. This is where I can give the shout out to Wiki of Westeros. This is from their site. This is a runtime of 31 minutes. This episode is the shortest of the television series so far, tied with The Squire, which was also 31 minutes. They are both the shortest episodes in all of the World of Westeros shows, okay? And at the end of the episode, in dialogue not from the novella, Aeg lists off that there are actually 9 kingdoms, referring to how the Riverlands and Crownlands are the unofficial 8th and 9th kingdoms, or administrative regions within the realm known as the 7 kingdoms. So for many centuries leading up to Aegon's conquest, there were 7 independent kingdoms in the continent of Westeros. So that's why there's south of the wall. So that's why he mentions this whole thing about the nine kingdoms in this thing. Many thousands of years ago, there were dozens of smaller petty kingdoms. Over these centuries, it became common practice to interchangeably refer to Westeros as the 7 kingdoms. The Riverlands, however, were not one of the independent 7 kingdoms, but a contested borderland between the others. And, this is when they kind of mentions stuff about Aegon's conquest and, going into, it was ruled by the Iron Islands and before that by the Stormlands. When the Targaryens invaded, the River Lords voluntarily switched sides and actively supported them. And in return, Aegon elevated the Riverlands to co-equal status as an administrative region within his new realm. They're talking about the other Aegon here, I guess, right?
The first one, the one that came from Valyria to Westeros with his sister wives.
Okay, so while the Riverlands had been the unofficial 8th kingdom for centuries, the Crownlands were created relatively recently, 2 centuries before this episode. Aegon the Conqueror formed them by carving out territory from neighboring kingdoms as lands to directly support his new capital city, King's Landing. So there you go. So the Riverlands and the Crownlands aren't technically kingdoms, but the point remains that there are 9 major regions in the realm known as the 7 kingdoms. So that is the distinction as to why people only consider them like, I guess they're like the
7 kingdoms versus like
9, which because they are another big, larger region. So very interesting. I figured I'd add that
very
in.
Interesting. Thank you for adding that in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure you enjoyed that and possible spoilers.
Oh, no.
I know.
No spoilers for me, but yes.
But anything else you guys want to add, though, before we watch this trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3?
I want to see this trailer. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm just dying to see it.
Me neither. Yeah.
I'm dying to see this trailer. But no, this I can't wait for the next season. I mean, for this. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where they go. And
House of the Dragon, I have no idea like how this ends, or even like looking back on like I avoid the family line as much as I can, like
you know the one thing I always have confidence in, though, is that I won't remember half this shit anyways, even if I do come across something like even the stuff that I even was talking about there at the history of like how this stuff was all put together. They'll play an episode and then something will happen that I may have talked about like some other time or read up on somewhere, and I'll have no recollection of that until we talk about it here on this show.
Let's be honest, you don't have a recollection of what you were talking about now.
No, exactly. I don't. All I know is Aegon the Conqueror was mentioned, and there was like some talk about what he took over. That's all I know, right? So whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to it. I won't stop. This show should not stop until they flesh out every moment. I want every little moment to be fleshed out in the history of Westeros.
Jay's sitting there like, wait, what show is this again?
So let's go to the trailer here, or the teaser, I should say, for House of the Dragon Season 3. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, we will be back here again in June, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We will be coming back live. Join us in the chat. Watch the episodes weekly with us. This is a really fun event for us, and we really enjoy doing this, and we hope you guys check it out there. We'll be back with another trailer reaction when the full one comes out prior to Season 3, and then we'll be back in June for Season 3. As Christina has predicted, June 21st when the show should air. So we will be back discussing that season at that time. All right, hold on. Let me bring this up. Dragon season 3 teaser. All right. Let me just see if this is the official one. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Okay, 1 second. Gotta make sure it's the official one. You don't want any of that AI shit here. Okay.
Boo.
Jay half the time like sends me stuff. Is this real? It's like the most AI thing I've ever seen. I'm like, no. They're getting good at them though. Some of them are good. All right, here we go.
It's like a cat playing a guitar. It's like, no. Anyways.
Where were you?
Alicent Kempi Dragonstone. She will open the gates of the Red Keep and surrender to me.
You cannot trust her.
The king has abdicated the throne. A new dawn is coming. A new line of unsullied kings.
You are the Queen of Dragons. You have an absolute power within your grasp.
Soon or late, Rhaenyra will send her new dragons here. It would be the end.
This is the moment you become queen.
Fuck yeah. I cannot wait. This has the potential to be like all action this season, honestly. Like things need to happen. Like they've been teeing this up for how freaking long. I'm really hyped now after seeing that, honestly. Yeah, that looks sick.
It's going to be, I get to see a dragon, you know. Honestly, yeah, it's going to be intense. And I'm wondering who's going to die that we're going to maybe not want to see die.
Everybody. Just assume everyone's going to die.
I know you have to, but you can't because then we already know
they all
there's still some of them here.
Though, we know this, right? They all are gonna die, like eventually here. Like we know this to be the case. It's not like this is a show where we don't know what the future holds for these people, right? Like we do know it to an extent without reading into it too much. Like we know they're not like they are all gonna die eventually.
Yeah. No, I know.
Whether or not it's gonna happen in this next season, yeah, that's the question. But there's gonna be people that die. Like there has to be big characters taken off the board this season. There has to be. Like the way they've been teeing this up for 2 full seasons of like setting everything up between the war between this family, right? Yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, right? Like people. It looks tense. Like I can't wait like to get back to this storyline. So
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So, and you know, I think we'll have to like do a play-by-play, even bigger analyzation when they release the full trailer, because this was like the first teaser trailer, but normally they'll release a longer trailer prior to this season.
I can't wait to rewatch this entire series all over again.
You gonna run it back? You gonna run it back?
Is my name Christina or is it Christina? Like,
you know what? Yeah. I might have to too, because it has been 4 years for 2 seasons that we've had of this show. So
you have to rewatch it.
Yeah, like, I think you're right. Jay,
if you're watching this and you want to know, just watch it and watch it again.
You gonna rewatch it, Jay?
Yeah, I can work. I got time. There's still a lot of time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe
I will rewatch it.
Maybe I will run it back. I think you're right. It'll probably do be better for the show here too. So for the conversation. So, you know, that was what was nice about this too. We really didn't have to have any prior knowledge of what was going on in this season of this show, right? Because we're being introduced to everybody.
Started in like when the trailer drops, like probably like you predicted in May sometime. like watch the trailer and then start your House of the Dragon like rewatch, because it's only 2 seasons. Like it's not, and wasn't the last season like 6 episodes? Like it wasn't even
8.
like a full.
I think it was 8. I think it was 8. I don't think it
I
was
feel
6.
like they chinced us. I think
Was
they
it
were
6?
pissed. I think it was 6.
Or 7 or something stupid like that. Hold on.
Yeah, it
House
was something crazy because we were like, what the hell? Like, how are they chincing us and making us wait?
season 2, how many episodes? Hold on. 8. It was 8.
It was
But,
8.
but the first one I think was 10. I think that's like why. I think they
Okay.
were upset.
Oh
by
yeah,
it.
yeah. You know what? You're probably right, because when they announced this was 6, I had an even bigger reaction. I was like,
Right.
oh, what the heck?
It was
But-
8. Everything they've come out with has been less and less. So I think
Right.
the first season was 10, if I'm not mistaken,
Probably, yeah, that sounds right.
which was kind of like the standard. It was 10 to 12 episodes for HBO. But then they started out with the 8 episode after waiting 2 years. And then again, we've waited now another 2 years for this. And I'm wondering if they've already announced. Hold on, while we're still on the air here, I'm going to Google quick if they've announced how many episodes are going to be for this season. I don't think they have yet, but
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything like that yet.
I mean, it should. I can't be
It's
less
too
than 8.
soon.
I mean, it can't be less than 8. 8 to 10 is, I think, what they should be. Hopefully, but so season 1 was 10. Yeah, season 1 was 10. Season 2 was 8. Season 3. Let's see if they have it listed somewhere here.
I hope it's.
Oh, so apparently, if this Google search is correct, it will consist of 8 episodes.
That's fine. I'm
Okay.
like 8 is better than
8
6.
But do you see how they've tempered your expectation now, where you're like, oh, I'll take 8. Yeah, I mean, like you're like, now it's just like you'll take whatever, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh man, this is 6, great.
They're gonna start running shorts soon, man. Everybody's just gonna keep watching fucking shorts.
No, that's interesting how they did that, though. I mean, like, yeah, you're right. I'm happy with 8, but I mean, you know,
8,
yeah. So 4th season is going to be concluding the season. This was filmed between March and October 2025, expected in June. Yeah, it's 8. It says 8 episodes. Yeah, yeah. Because I remember Game of Thrones, wasn't that like, except for the last couple of seasons, wasn't that like, that wasn't like the heyday of like HBO though? I think it was like, wasn't that like 12 episodes those seasons? Some of them, one of them was like 13 or something. I think I remember. Yeah, it was like crazy. Like, and then like the last 2 seasons, you got like that split season, like they did with like The Sopranos, where it was like 6 episodes and then the 5 episodes or something like that. It was like one of those, like, we're gonna take one season.
I think the last season of Game of Thrones was like a
6, I
like
think
an
5 or
8
6
episode
Was it
or
8?
6.
Okay.
I don't know. It was something ridiculous, and I was like, "This is the stupidest thing ever." Anyways,
Well, we don't have to revisit that. We don't have to revisit that. We'll be on the air for another hour if we're going to talk about
yeah.
that. Okay, so let's conclude here. Let's wrap up. So as I mentioned, back in June for House of the Dragon season 3 and a trailer kind of catch up. If maybe they'll announce something else between now and then, and we'll have to do another episode when we do talk about the trailer to catch up on all this. But this was fun again. We I feel like finally got back into the groove of doing this show, and here we are at the end already of it. That's the only shame about this. It's been quick. Yeah, so it'll be good. I'm looking forward to the next one though. So
Me too.
again, make sure to like and subscribe, everybody out there. And if you missed out on this, go back and check it out. It was a lot of fun. We all seem to have liked it. Let's give it a rating. This season out of 5 stars. I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
Fair. I was thinking 4.2.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it 4, just for runtime.
you're really bothered by that, eh?
I am.
But you give it a 4 still. Okay, so a 4 out of 5. Yeah,
Yeah, and
good.
I feel like for the same reasons. I feel like, we fell in love with these characters. Like, we fell in love with all the characters and the storyline and all the things. I wanted more, but like that's where they got dinged. The 0.8 for me is like,
Yeah.
Until I see a season 2 trailer for this one, I am not gonna believe fucking shit. I'm not gonna fall in love with anybody yet. I'm not nothing.
It's coming January 2027.
They have announced it already. Yeah.
And
Okay,
it's called
but I haven't seen the
A
trailer.
sworn sword.
They can announce
Sworn
everything
Sword.
they want. They can keep postponing it like they do with everything. So
Is that what it's called? A Sworn Sword is the second
Yeah.
season of this? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Coming back in the new year, if they continue on with that, I'm okay with that. And
Same.
Yeah, I'm
Same.
okay with that. I
Good.
think it's
6
nice.
months, I can wait.
It's nice opposite of the other show. Like I hope they continue kind of with this. I mean, there has been rumblings that there is going to be another spinoff of a show soon too. They did mention that. Like that's
Now.
it's probably
I
not going to
know.
happen now, but it's next couple years maybe when they're done with this one, then we might get something else, right? So
I know. We've talked about this. And
Yeah.
like we'll see.
yeah. Okay. We will. I mean, listen, I just hope this doesn't go to waste, this show, because I think this has been really successful. And like you said, we all gave it like an average rating of like 4 out of 5 stars there. I could have went up to 4.5, quite frankly, but like you said, I don't want to jump the gun this early. But I think as time goes on, I think this was very solid. This is a very good outing, this storyline. And I appreciated the subtle differences that they brought to the table here of this season. So
Yeah.
all in all, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Cold
guys.
opens are the best, bro.
They are. All right, guys. I guess that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys again in a few months when we get back together to discuss the upcoming season of House of the Dragon. And
Thank you, Maester Stats.
oh, no problem. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I do it for you guys. It's a lot of fun. Thank you to Christina again for joining us as one of our co-hosts
Thank you,
permanently on this show
Egg.
these last few seasons that we've done. It's been a lot of fun. And thank you to Jay with his, as always, his comments and his computer issues.
I think I cracked my tooth halfway through the show too and everything.
Did you really?
Yeah, so
Okay. Well,
It was good
That'll
luck.
be a
More
fun
on
visit
that.
to the dentist.
more on that later.
not at all. All right, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We appreciate it. Later, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody.